Hey, welcome back to Burnt Wood Workshop. I didn't get a video in last week, so I'm going to try and make up for it with some content over the next few weeks. Part of that is because XTool has a new challenge coming out called their Creative Challenge for their Atom platform. And what I did was I got my first 3 entries submitted today. I'm going to show you what those are, and I'm going to let you pick which one that I go in depth on making and show you how to make your own, something similar, modify it a little bit. And they aren't. I entered them today, so they're probably not on the platform yet. As soon as they're approved, you can check them out. I'll probably post a quick post to say when they're out. So the first one I posted was this key fob for a camper in black acrylic. I used to have a little camper like this, and it was something we were quite fond of. So when we got our new camper, I wanted a cool key fob for it. So I made this, and as you can see, you can hold the key for your nice old camper or newer ones, but this is the key fob, which keys up, made out of black acrylic. That was the first entry. The next entry I actually did in a smaller size like this. And I put a skull in it and engraving, thought it'd make it look cool. And then I got thinking, and I thought, gee, you know, it'd be kind of cool for a Gothic window to make a wedding photo frame out of. So what I did was I redesigned this so it would hold a standard 4x6 picture. And this is the next entry I did. And this was all designed in Creative Space. And I did this in a 3-layer with 2 different colors to give it some effect. This could be done in white with gold or whatever you want. That's the second entry I put in. The third entry I put in is something that actually is for my studio. My studio lights. I'm constantly losing the remote to it. So what I did was I made a remote holder that hooks right onto the pole for the studio lights. I can put the remote in when I'm done with it. And that clamps right onto the pole. And my remote is always with the studio lights. Makes life a lot easier. I'm hoping I remember to stick it in it. We'll see. But that was the third entry. The next entry I've got coming up is I'm going to make a decorative tissue box. And I designed this the other day. I completely created that right in Creative Space. And if you'd like to see how to do something like that, leave me a comment and I can do a video on that. But these are the 3 choices. Let me know what you think on which one you'd like to see the in-depth creation of. I can do that. This one here, I created this whole horseshoe bracket for it. This was all designed in Creative Space. No templates, nothing. I fully designed it. So if you want to know how to design something like that, we could do that. The Gothic window, whoops, dropped a screw in that. That was completely designed in Creative Space. And the skull picture was created in their AI make. So that's another thing we could go over a little more on, is creating some stuff in AI with prompts. It's pretty much whatever you describe, you'll get what you get. So it might not be worth doing a video on, but we could do some experimenting just to see what you get. And this one was created in Creative Space with just a little pattern that they had that I modified so that I could make this. So these are the 3 choices. And let me know what you think. And I'm going to give you a little content here today on node editing, just because that's something that I had a little bit of an issue with doing some of this designing. So that's up next. Okay, so I just did this whole thing and recorded it and didn't record it. So we're going to do this all over again, which you don't realize. But so what we're going to do is going to show you how to make one of these for starters. Okay, to make one of those, we're going to hold our shift key down and make a circle, and that basically makes a perfect circle. And then we're going to take that, and we want a 1/2 inch offset on that. So I'm going to bring this back to 0.5, and we're going to confirm it. Okay, so there's our piece right there. Okay, now what we want is that horseshoe set. So we're going to take another circle, we're going to hold shift, and we're going to do that. And we know that this is a 1/2 inch, so we're just going to take this, we're going to make this 0.5, and we're going to zoom in, and we're going to set this right right on the center of that, like that. And then we're going to copy it, and we're going to paste it, and we're going to set another one right there. And then, to make what we want, I tried these, none of them worked. Because like with subtract here, it did nothing. So we undo that. You go into unite, that clears everything. So anyway, I'm not going to waste of time on that. What we want to do is we want to make this a compound vector. And we're going to edit the compound vector. And this is the easiest way to accomplish something like this. Just take your scissors, snip, 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 boom. Whoops, wait, undo, wrong one. Okay, and done. And there's that piece. Okay, and then you're just going to put your two holes in it. And actually, if you look, I didn't get those two circles lined up. Use a little more care when you do it. We can actually fix that by taking this and just doing that. Okay, so if you do mess up like that, you don't have to redo everything. You can just fix it. Okay, so we're done there. So this is our piece here, and then basically if you want to put your screw holes in, whoops, hold shift, point. For the number 8 screws, it was 0.1813, so that was our screw hole size. I'm going to take that, we're going to set that in here. I'm going to copy it, we're going to paste it, and we're going to figure out where we pasted it. There it is. Okay. And that's even. Now, if you want to make sure that these two were lined up the same, you could take this, copy it, paste it, reflect horizontally, and I would turn this to a different color so you can see it. But if you take this and put this over that, as you can see, we're off by a tiny bit. So if you took, say, the blue one, and you moved it, click that way, and click that way, and take the yellow one, pull that out and delete it. Then you're going to do this again. You're going to go copy, paste, reflect horizontally, switch to yellow, or slide it back over there, and look at that. We got it. So that's how you can fix that. Now, with this here, whoops, this was bigger than I wanted. I actually wanted this smaller. In order to make that smaller, you can't just take and select this and unlock it and make it smaller, because that changes this radius, those circles, and your pin. So you can't do that. So if you want to make this smaller, what you would do is you would take a rectangle, or you could redesign the whole thing, but I don't want to do that. Okay, we know that this is 2 inches wide, so we're going to make our rectangle 2 inches wide. And then we're going to zoom in on it. And we're going to slide it over, oops, till it's lined up perfectly with that. Then we're going to take this and we're going to make it a compound vector. And this is where we ran into the problem. Is you would think that you could just take and snip that line out, which, as you can see, it carries up. So you can't. So what you have to do is you have to switch these anchor points around until you can actually get the anchor point to hold that corner. And then undo that, edit, scissors, did it do it? No, we still didn't get it. See, it's still there. So you got to fuss around with this some. You got to keep adding the anchors until you can, and it just sometimes doesn't want to do it. There we go. All right, so we slid that anchor down far enough. Now, it's going to snip that little bit off there, which isn't that big of a deal. All you got to do is just take that, slide it up to that anchor point, and now that side is off. Now we're going to go over this side, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go edit, and we're going to see where we're at. Now, actually, this one, nope, it looked like it lies to you. It sometimes looks like it's going to do it, but it doesn't. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this, anchor that. Sometimes it wants to anchor all over the place. Now see, we put an extra little ear there we don't want. All right, so we're going to go back into here. We're going to... I wish that you could click on it and have it stop adding points. All right, so theoretically, that should be anchored. It's not perfect, but it'll work. And we're losing down to here. But sometimes it's easier to just clip it, select, and pull this up to that anchor point. You don't want to pull it all the way across, so you just erase that. So you're going to pull this one down. And then we had a little extra something there. That's blue. We're going to get rid of the extra stuff. And that is that. Now, what we want to do is we want to take that line and that line out. Okay. And we're going to hit done. And then we're going to release the compound vector. So we're going to select this half. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to slide this half up to right there, which is what we wanted cut out. Make sure this is right on the line. And there is our smaller piece. Now we've got a couple little things here. We've got this little ear right here. So if we take this, and we go again with make compound vector, edit, we can snip that right out of there. There. And that is your shortened piece. And then what you want to do is you want to make sure you group it when you're done, or make it a compound vector or whatever, but make sure you do, because otherwise you'll fall apart. So that was some stuff I learned this week. I hope that helps, and I'm going to wrap this up. So that's a wrap on this. My next video is going to be whatever you guys want to do, or I'm just going to pick one if I don't get enough comments. The Creative Spark Challenge through XTool. If you're not part of the XTool platform, you can ask and I can get you some of these files. They're going to be free on Atom, and XTool's software is free. So if you want to get in there and download that stuff, give me a thumbs up on it, download some stuff. There's a lot of really cool stuff on there. So check it out, and I will see you next week.